Привет, друзья! Как дела? My name is Fedor, and today let's talk about important Russian cultural figures. And today, in fact, is going to be two in one. It's going to be a figure and then it's going to be an event. So the figure that we'll talk about, I guess you will, I'm going to have it in my questions. So I'm not going to say who actually did it. It's our quest to learn the Russian language while also learning the Russian culture. And I think that if you learn the language and you speak the language perfectly, if you have zero idea about the culture, it's going to be very hard for you to relate to people anyway. So you need to know culture as you learn the language. I'm going to read the text first, and then I'm going to ask you 3 questions about the text. And then we're going to break down the text and translate the text line by line. В 1969 году, когда режиссер Федор Хитрук начал работать над первой серией советского Винни-Пуха, он долго искал того, кто сможет оживить этого необычного медвежонка, смешного, простодушного и чуть самоуверенного. Выбор пал на Евгения Леонова, уже любимого зрителям из-за комические, но человечные роли. Когда Леонов пришел на студию, он не просто прочитал текст. Он начал разговаривать так, словно сам был Пухом, с той самой медлительной, слегка тянущей интонацией и неожиданными паузами, которые делали каждую реплику смешнее и трогательнее. По воспоминаниям Хитрука, Леонов настолько вжился в роль, что стал двигаться, как медвежонок, слегка сутуля плечи, приподнимая брови и мягко жестикулируя. Художники-мультипликаторы, наблюдая за ним через стекло звукозаписывающей кабины, буквально зарисовывали его мимику и жесты. В результате на экране появился Пух, в котором зрители безошибочно угадывали не только героя книги, но и черты самого Леонова. Даже характер, немного ворчливый, но добрый, с философским взглядом на жизнь, во многом был перенесен из актера в мультфильм. Так голос стал не просто озвучкой, а частью визуального образа. Сегодня, когда мы слышим знаменитое «это ж неспроста», мы слышим не только Винни-Пуха, но и самого Евгения Леонова, который подарил персонажу душу. Okay, this text was not the easiest. This was about, maybe I would say, the natural difficulty of a person writing this article. So, it wasn't like simplified for learners, per se. So, here's 3 questions for your comprehension, see if you understood it or not. Кто озвучивал Винни-Пуха в советском мультфильме? So, who voiced Winnie-the-Pooh in the Soviet cartoon is the question. Что делал Леонов во время записи, кроме того, как говорил текст? What did Leonov do during the recording besides just reading the text? And the third question. Что художники срисовали с Леонова для мультфильма? What did the artists draw from Leonov for the cartoon? Like, what did they take from him for the cartoon? Not just the people who did his voice, but also the artists. Okay, so now we're gonna read the text again and see if you answer the questions correctly. В 1969 году, in 1969, когда режиссер Федор Хитрук, when the director Федор Хитрук is his first and last, начал работать, started to work, над первой серией, on the first episode. So we have this wonderful phrase, работать над, to work on something. So we don't say работать на, работать над. Так, окей. Над первой серией советского Винни-Пуха, on the first episode of the Soviet Winnie-the-Pooh, он долго искал того, he searched for a long time for the one, кто сможет оживить, who can make somebody come to life, who can make this come to life, этого необычного медвежонка, this unusual bear. So who can make this unusual bear come to life? Смешного, простодушного и чуть самоуверенного. Funny, simple in the soul. So простодушный is simple. Not like a negative thing that's like, oh, he's a simple guy. Meaning that you there's nothing about you that is interesting. You are simple. Простодушный is your soul is simple, so you are light. И чуть самоуверенного, and a little self-confident. Выбор пал на Евгения Леонова. The choice has fallen on Yevgeny Leonov. It's a Soviet actor who typically played comedic roles, because his body, his voice, himself as a person, he was very comedic and very funny. Уже любимого зрителями за комические, already favored by the viewers for the comical, но человечные роли, but very humane characters or roles. Когда Леонов пришел на студию, when Leonov came to the studio, он не просто прочитал текст. He didn't just read the text. Прочитал текст, read the text. Он начал разговаривать так, he started to talk like, словно сам был Пухом, as if he was himself Pooh, or Winnie-the-Pooh. С той самой медлительной, with that exact slow, слегка тянущей интонацией, a little bit of stretchy intonation, и неожиданными паузами, and sudden pauses, которые делали каждую реплику смешнее, which made every line funnier и трогательнее, and more touching. По воспоминаниям Хитрука, as the Хитрук guy, the director remembers, Леонов настолько вжился в роль. Leonov like lived, or вжиться means like to live in or to become alive, or something made like you жить, right, is to live. Вжиться means to live in or to be so consumed by this role that you breathe life into it. Okay, so much что стал двигаться, that he started to move, как медвежонок, as a bear, as a little bear. Слегка сутуля плечи, a little shoulders down. Сутулость is when a person has a hunched back, so a little hunching his shoulders. Приподнимая брови, raising his eyebrows, и мягко жестикулируя, and softly gesturing. Жестикулируя means gesturing. Художники-мультипликаторы. The artists and multiplicator is cartoonists. Those who make cartoons. Наблюдая за ним, observing him, so наблюдать за, to observe after. Через стекло, through the glass, звукозаписывающей кабины, sound recording booth. So we have the звукозаписывающий. In Russian, when we connect two stems, like звук and запись, sound record, we add this o in the middle. Звукозаписывающий. Буквально зарисовывали его мимику. Literally were drawing his mimic, or mimic, I forget the word in English. Is when you, I guess you mimic when you have specific face movements. That's mimic. Mimika in Russian. И жесты, and gestures. В результате, as a result, на экране появился Пух. A certain Pooh came on the screen, в котором зрители, in which the viewers, безошибочно угадывали. Mistakelessly guessed. So, or guessed without mistakes. Не только героя книги, not just the character of the book, но и черты самого Леонова, but also the characteristics of Leonov himself. Даже характер, even the character. Немного ворчливый, a little grumpy, но добрый, but kind. с философским взглядом на жизнь, with a philosophical view of life. Во многом был перенесен из актера в мультфильм. In a lot of meanings or in a lot of things was taken from the actor himself to the cartoon. Так голос стал не просто озвучкой, and so the voice didn't just become the voiceover, а частью визуального образа, but also a part of the visual character. И сегодня, and today, когда мы слышим знаменитое when we hear the famous «это ж неспроста», this buzz ж, this phrase «это ж неспроста» has a double meaning. So we have a phrase «это же неспроста». This is actually not just because. This is not happening just because. But also «ж» is a sound that when we mimic bees make the buzz bzz, right? But in Russian it's «ж». So it's a mixture between «это же неспроста» and «это ж неспроста». When he hears the bees buzzing, he's saying this is not happening just because. And also he's saying this buzzing is not just because. So it's a, I guess, wordplay there. Мы слышим не только Винни-Пуха. We don't just hear Winnie-the-Pooh, но и самого Евгения Леонтьева, but Евгений Леонтьев himself too, который подарил персонажу душу, who gifted the soul to the character. So I hope that the questions that we've had, you now understand the answer to them from the translation and also with this breakdown. When we break down this text, ideally, for you guys to listen to it and just maybe retain one or two things. Something that connected with you, that you felt good about it, that it now, okay, makes sense. Maybe работать над, to work on, наблюдать за, to watch after somebody. And so you will accumulate these bits and pieces or this puzzle of the Russian language as you go along. And I don't expect you guys to just learn all the words from this text, learn all of the grammar structures, all the phrases. One or two will be enough. And you will come back to this podcast, maybe some other interview online, maybe some, I don't know, maybe other podcasts out there, right? And you will listen to them, and you will get one or two phrases from them. And that's exactly how you go around your Russian life being a sponge, learning new things every time. Today with this podcast, some video tomorrow, maybe another podcast in 2 weeks. And you learn the native expressions and you borrow them and you start to use them. Until one day, with enough of this work, you wake up and you will have already accumulated like thousands of different phrases. That's how a native's brain works too. Because the kids do that. Why do you think kids sound like their parents a whole lot? Me, my brother, our voices are very similar. Our tonalities are very similar. And our expressions and all of that is very similar. And it's all very similar to our dad too. I can tell you this. When it's an old prank that we have. My brother is 2 years older than me. When somebody calls one of us, our voices are so alike that if it's a person who doesn't know us too well, like an acquaintance or a friend that is not a family member, put it that way, they cannot distinguish who is talking. Okay? They cannot from just our voices. And the same thing with our dad. I can answer my dad's phone and he won't, and the person calling, again, if it's not a close friend, won't know what's different. They won't know because our voices are so similar, especially on the phone. And why is that? It's not because me and my brother, yet 2 years apart, maybe we have the same vocal cords, very similar, I guess, we're siblings. But it doesn't work with dad, right? Because we're not siblings with our dad. So it's just learned. We have learned this pronunciation, this tone of voice, our voices, from him. And so it works the same way with language learning. You listen to a lot of stuff. And a common misconception is that You speak better when you speak more. You practice speaking, you practice pronunciation, yes, those more physical things, yeah. But cognitively, you speak better the more you listen. The more you listen to authentic Russian speech, natural conversations, when you listen to people who are smart, who can articulate their thoughts well, you borrow their expressions. Not because you talk a lot. Let's say if you talk, if you speak to yourself out loud for thousands of hours, do you think that your speaking will improve? Again, physical things, yes, pronunciation, the way you talk, maybe your memory, because you've said those words a whole lot, maybe that will strengthen. But the beauty of your language and the new expressions won't come to you because you simply don't know them. So the more we listen, the better we speak. But now, on to 10 words from this text that are crucial, and this vocabulary is brought to you by Be Fluent. We have a vocabulary page where you can study vocabulary. It's only a part of our, website. It's our supplementary part to the main curriculum. And so you will learn the grammar stuff, the speaking stuff, but also you have a chance to practice vocabulary with a tool that will make it stick. And you will add these words to your long-term memory, not short-term, long-term with Be Fluent. Check it out with the link in the description. So, multfilm. Multfilm means, cartoon film. Okay, multfilm, cartoon. Режиссер. Режиссер is a director. Режиссер. Actor is an actor, of course. Озвучивать means to voice. It's to add sound. Озвучивать. Because звук, sound, is the stem here. Голос is voice. Голос. Мимика, again, is facial expressions. Мимика. Жест is a gesture. Жест. Персонаж is a character. Персонаж. Герой is a hero or, again, a character. Персонаж and герой, they're, synonyms here. Персонаж, герой, yeah. Typically, герой also has a secondary meaning of a hero, like a brave hero. And интонация. Интонация is intonation. That is all. Hope you've learned something useful today. And again, see you over at Be Fluent. Let's take care of your vocabulary and your Russian together.